Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping right into a topic that really affects everyone eventually, thriving beyond 50.
hmm
And our source material for this deep dive is a really great book. It's called Thriving Beyond 50 by physiotherapist Will Harlow.
That's right. And it's interesting because this book really challenges that common idea. The misconception that getting older automatically means falling apart.
Right, decline is inevitable, that sort of thing.
Exactly. Instead, it offers a much more hopeful, um, empowering view. It's built on the idea that we actually have a pretty significant choice in how we age.
So, our mission today is basically to pull out the most important bits of knowledge, maybe some surprising insights from this book.
Yeah, give you the tools.
Give you the tools,
Yeah.
exactly, to help improve your health, your fitness, mobility, especially, as you get into those years beyond 50.
Crucial years.
But before we really get into it, just a quick important note. This deep dive, it's for information. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. The author, Will Harlow, he's a physio, and he stresses this point.
Hmm.
Always, always talk to your doctor first.
Right before trying any of this stuff.
hmm It's not a substitute for proper medical advice tailored to you.
Your health is, well, it's everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we only get one shot at living a long, healthy, comfortable life. So, be smart about it.
Well said.
Okay, so let's unpack this main idea. The book really challenges the whole concept of what aging means.
It does. Instead of seeing 50 as like the start of the downhill slide,
Yeah, the beginning of the end.
he frames it more as a halfway point. Living to 100 is becoming much more realistic now.
A halfway point, that's a big shift in perspective.
It is. And what's fascinating is the emphasis on choice.
Mm.
He points out that, yeah, many people might live a long time
It's
numerically.
just counting the years.
Right. But their later years are often, his words, plagued by suffering and pain.
Oof.
And the core belief here is that we shouldn't just expect things like dementia or chronic pain. We shouldn't just accept them as a fact of life.
So what does this actually mean for you listening right now? It's about really taking on board that you do have control
A level of control, yes.
over how growing old feels, how it plays out for you. It's about stopping yourself when you hear that little voice, or maybe you say it out loud.
Oh, I'm just getting old.
Exactly. Every time there's a new ache, oh, well, it's just getting old. The book says, no, stop that.
And this leads to a really important point. If pain isn't always directly linked to physical damage, we see MRIs showing wear and tear in people with no pain all the time.
Right. Those scans can be scary, but don't always tell the whole story.
So what is going on? Fear plays a huge role. Fear of movement, specifically. It can be incredibly harmful
How so?
because it makes us avoid movements that are actually safe and often necessary, which just makes the problem worse in the long run.
Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting because the book suggests a kind of new mantra for dealing with that fear of movement.
Yes, it's not about ignoring pain, but about teaching your brain, retraining it to understand that movement is safe.
How do you do that?
The key technique is breath timing. It sounds simple, but it's about calming the central nervous system.
Okay.
So you consciously take a deep breath in through your nose, ideally for about, say, 5.5 seconds before you make the movement.
Before. Okay.
Then you exhale smoothly through your mouth as you actually do the task.
Ah, so the exhale happens during the movement.
Exactly. And this can really help reduce the pain you associate with things you used to do easily, like bending down for your socks, or even just walking if you have knee arthritis.
Controlled breathing to manage pain perception. That's powerful.
It can be, yes.
Okay, so the book really emphasizes three sort of fundamental things for lifelong vitality: strength, mobility, and endurance.
That's right. The pillars, essentially.
So, in practical terms, what are we talking about here? What's mobility?
Mobility is basically how well you can move around. Can you get out of a low chair easily? Climb stairs without struggling? Adjust your feet quickly if you stumble?
So, range of motion, but also control.
Exactly. Control around the joint.
Mhm.
And strength, well, that's your muscle's ability to actually create force to make movement happen. Without strength, movement is just impossible.
Makes sense. And why are these three so critical for people over 50? What's the real world impact?
Well, being strong, it protects you from injury, for one.
Uh-huh.
It helps reduce arthritis pain significantly.
Okay.
And hugely important, it lowers your risk of falls. Falls are a massive issue.
You hear horror stories.
They cost the NHS here in the UK over £2 billion a year. And the outcomes can be devastating. A third of people who fracture their hip actually die within a year.
Wow. That statistic is sobering.
It really is. And beyond safety, strength just boosts your confidence, how capable you feel.
And endurance.
Endurance is more about having that baseline fitness to just cope with daily life,
Right.
right? Improving it is like taking out an insurance policy on your health.
How so?
Better heart health, dramatically lower chance of a fatal heart attack, prevents that plaque buildup that leads to strokes.
Yep.
And it even reduces the risk of certain cancers and brain disorders, like dementia.
So these three, strength, mobility, endurance, they really work together for overall health span, not just lifespan.
Precisely. It's about quality of life.
Now, the book introduces this concept called the 9 at 90. These are specific movements it says we should aim to maintain.
Yes, key functional movements, things you need in real life.
Right, not just gym exercises. Let's look at a few. Why are they so vital?
Okay, well, one fantastic indicator of your lower body strength, and actually your independence, is being able to sit down and stand up from a low chair very slowly.
Slowly is the key word.
Yes, very slowly, without using your hands and without just dropping the last few inches.
I know I sometimes do that little drop.
Most people do. They use their arms or just collapse down.
Yeah.
And that actually weakens your legs over time because you're not controlling the movement.
Interesting. Okay, what about lifting? We all have to lift things.
Right, lifting a suitcase from the floor, but doing it correctly, using your legs, not your back.
The classic advice.
It is, but it requires good ankle and hip mobility, plus strength and coordination in your legs.
Mm-hmm.
Another critical one is the floor get up.
Getting up off the floor.
Exactly, going from lying down to kneeling to standing up again. It requires pretty impressive core strength, leg strength.
I can imagine.
And its importance for fall prevention is huge. If you do fall, can you get yourself back up? It's crucial.
Absolutely vital for independence. And what about just walking, something we do every day?
Well, the 5-mile walk isn't necessarily saying you must walk 5 miles every day.
Okay.
It's highlighting that being able to walk a decent distance without pain or discomfort is just essential for a happy, healthy life. You know, that 10,000 steps idea is popular.
Everywhere.
But it's more about having the capacity to walk comfortably, whatever the distance, than hitting some magic number. It's about freedom.
Okay, so if you can do most of these 9 at 90 now, that's great news. But the trick is keeping them, right? Maintaining that ability.
That's the key.
What are the common areas people should watch out for? The places that tend to get stiff or weak first?
Yeah, the sticky areas. Definitely keep an eye on losing range of motion in your shoulders. That's a big one.
Okay.
Tightness in your calves, that can affect your knees and feet. And general stiffness developing in the hips and knees.
So shoulders, calves, hips, knees.
Those are common culprits.
Yeah.
Catching changes early and getting some guidance is really key to stopping small issues becoming big problems.
Right, proactive rather than reactive.
Yeah.
Okay, let's dive into some specific pain points the book covers because often the insights are quite surprising. Hips and knees first.
Sure. A really common one, especially for women over 50, is pain on the side of the hip.
Okay, outer hip.
Yes. And people often jump to thinking it's hip arthritis.
Makes sense, it's in the hip area.
But very often, it's actually something called greater trochanteric pain syndrome, or GTPS.
GTPS. Okay, what is that?
It's basically an injury to the tendons or inflammation of the bursa, that little fluid sac on the bony bit on the outside of your hip.
Ah, so not the joint itself.
Not usually, no. And it's often linked to weakness in the glute muscles, the buttock muscles. Women tend to need stronger glutes because of differences in pelvic structure.
Interesting. So the fix isn't necessarily about the hip joint.
Often it's about restoring strength in those hip muscles. And simple things like consciously not crossing your legs or avoiding sitting for ages with your knees clamped together can make a huge difference to recovery.
Wow, simple posture changes. And knee pain, is it always coming from the knee?
Not always, no. Knee pain can absolutely be caused by imbalances somewhere else, especially the hips.
The hip connection again.
Yeah. For example, if your gluteus medius muscle, a key muscle on the side of your hip, is weak, your knee might tend to collapse inwards when you sit, stand, or go downstairs.
I think I've seen that happen. The knee kind of buckles in.
Exactly. And that movement pattern puts stress on the knee joint and can cause pain, even if there's no actual injury in the knee itself.
Fascinating. What about clicking knees? That noise can be really alarming. People think their bones are grinding.
Yeah, it sounds awful, doesn't it? But the truth about clicking knees is that it's very rarely bone grinding on bone.
Really? So what is it?
It's usually related to the cartilage surfaces moving, or the synovial fluid shifting within the joint. Sometimes tendons snapping over bony bits. Mostly, it's harmless noise.
That's reassuring. Okay, the book also tackles total knee replacements. Big surgery.
Huge surgery. And the recovery is long, often painful. Plus, the replacement itself typically only lasts 10 to 15 years
Before you need another one.
before you potentially need a revision surgery, which is even more complex. So the real aim should be to delay needing one for as long as you possibly can.
Makes sense. So if you're starting to feel those first, maybe rumblings of knee arthritis, what should you focus on?
Number one, restore full knee mobility. Can you fully bend it? Can you fully straighten it? That's critical.
Okay, mobility first.
Then, strengthen the muscles around the knee and the hip. Stretch your calves to tight calves pull on the knee. Avoid twisting movements when your foot is planted. And use heat for soothing relief.
Got it. But sometimes surgery is needed. What are the signs that it might genuinely be time to consider hip or knee replacement?
There are definite signs. Night pain that consistently wakes you up is a big one.
Okay.
Relying on painkillers just to function daily, even with physiotherapy. If your hip or knee dangerously gives way, causing near falls,
That sounds scary.
it is. Also, if you can't get in or out of a car or the bath without help. Or, specifically for the knee, if it just won't bend past 90 degrees despite trying other treatments, those are red flags.
Okay, that's clear. Let's shift to the back. So many people suffer from low back pain, often without a clear single injury. Why is that?
Yeah, persistent low back pain is often more complex. It's usually a mix of things. Tightness in some muscles, weakness in others, maybe faulty movement patterns you've developed over time.
Habits.
Exactly. And even changes in how your brain is processing signals from that area, it can become sensitized.
So it's not just one thing.
Rarely. Take sitting, for example.
Oh,
Sitting for long periods shortens your hip flexors at the front of your hips.
right.
This can pull your pelvis forward into what's called an anterior pelvic tilt. Sometimes look at the duck bottom. That puts strain on the low back.
Ah, so sitting is a big factor. What's the fix?
Simple habit changes. Try not to sit for more than an hour without just standing up, having a quick stretch. And when you're walking, consciously squeeze your buttock muscles slightly. That helps tuck your pelvis back into a more neutral position.
Squeeze the glutes while walking. Got it.
Yeah.
What about disc injuries? Slip discs, bulging discs? They sound terrifying.
They do sound awful. But here's a mind blower. Disc injuries are incredibly common, even in people with no pain.
Really?
A big study in 2015 looked at MRI scans of people with no back pain. By age 80, 84% of them had disc degeneration or bulges.
84% with no pain.
Exactly, because the disc itself doesn't really have pain nerves. Pain usually only happens if the disc material pushes on or irritates a nearby nerve root.
So the image doesn't always equal pain.
Correct. The golden rule, if you do have pain, potentially from a disc, is about exercise. Avoid anything that makes the pain worse, either during the exercise or in the hours after.
Okay. Don't push through worsening pain.
No.
Yeah.
Instead, focus on gentle, pain-free spinal movements. This helps increase blood flow to the area and can actually speed up healing. Movement is often medicine, just the right kind.
That's a huge takeaway. Gentle, pain-free movement. What about higher up neck and shoulder pain?
The neck is complex.
Yeah.
So intricate.
Mhm.
And yeah, even if you look after it, some age-related wear and tear can happen.
And headaches? Can they come from the neck?
Often, yes. Those headaches described as a tight band around the head or sometimes pulsating.
Yeah.
They can be mechanical,
Meaning?
meaning they stem from tight neck muscles or stiff joints in the neck vertebrae. Of course, you should rule out other things first: dehydration, hormones, vitamin issues.
Right. Check the basics.
But yeah, neck tension is a common headache trigger. The book uses a great analogy, the Jenga tower.
Like the game.
Exactly. Think of your neck vertebrae like Jenga blocks. They need to be stacked neatly for stability. Poor posture, weak muscles. It's like pulling blocks out. The whole thing gets unstable and stressed. A properly stacked, aligned neck minimizes that stress.
Good visual. And shoulders.
With shoulders, often the muscles you see aren't the most important ones for function. It's the deeper rotator cuff muscles.
Ah, you hear about rotator cuff injuries a lot.
You do. They're vital for lifting, throwing, climbing,
Yeah.
anything involving raising your arm. And they're a common source of pain and stiffness. Gentle, assisted movements are often key if stiffness is the main issue.
Okay. Let's not forget our hands. We use them for everything.
Absolutely everything, from gripping heavy bags to delicate tasks like buttoning a shirt. We take them for granted until they hurt.
And grip strength itself is important.
Massively. Loss of grip strength is actually a surprisingly reliable indicator of poor overall health. It's even been linked to predicting earlier death
Wow.
because it often acts as a proxy for your overall muscle strength throughout your body. Strong grip usually means stronger elsewhere.
Makes sense. And carpal tunnel syndrome. That seems common too.
Very common. It's caused by compression of the median nerve as it passes through that narrow tunnel in your wrist.
What helps with that?
Adjusting your workstation setup is important if you type a lot. But crucially, taking frequent micro breaks. Like every half hour, just stand up, stretch your hands, wrists, shoulders, break the static posture.
Those little breaks add up. Okay, so we've talked joints, muscles, specific pains. The book also goes broader into whole body systems that affect aging. Let's touch on inflammation.
Right, inflammation isn't always the enemy. Acute inflammation is how we heal from an injury.
Like a cut or sprain.
Exactly.
But
But the problem is global inflammation or chronic inflammation. That's when you have persistently high levels of inflammatory chemicals circulating in your bloodstream.
and what causes that?
Often, our daily choices, eating lots of sugary foods is a big trigger. Certain types of oils, too.
Good fats versus bad fats.
Essentially, yes. Things like coconut oil and olive oil seem to have anti-inflammatory effects, whereas trans fats, found in loads of processed foods, are pro-inflammatory. You want to minimize those.
What about foods that fight inflammation?
Yeah, plenty of those. Walnuts, oily fish like salmon or mackerel, tomatoes, broccoli, blueberries, all good anti-inflammatory choices.
So diet plays a huge role in cooling down that systemic fire.
Massive role.
And hormones, they shift significantly as we age.
They do, and those fluctuations can impact all sorts of things. Cholesterol levels, inflammation again, weight gain, sex drive, even memory. It's a complex picture.
Okay, and related to hormones, particularly for women postmenopause, is bone health, osteoporosis.
Yes, and it's important to distinguish osteoporosis from osteoarthritis. Arthritis is wear and tear in the joints. Osteoporosis is loss of bone density.
Making bones fragile.
Exactly. Brittle, prone to fractures.
Good.
But the good news is, it's often avoidable. Key factors are those hormonal changes, yes, but also poor nutrition and lack of the right kind of exercise. Getting enough calcium, and especially vitamin D, is vital. Vitamin D helps you absorb the calcium.
So, diet and exercise again. Which brings us to resistance training. The book really flags this as super important.
It calls it arguably the most important type of exercise for the over 50s.
Why resistance training specifically? Lifting weights, using bands?
Yes, anything where you're pushing or pulling against external resistance.
Yeah.
The goal is to temporarily stress and slightly break down the muscle fibers so they repair and rebuild stronger.
And the benefits for over 50s?
They're huge. Reduced injury risk, definitely. Improved flexibility and mobility, yes. Strength training helps flexibility.
That surprises some people.
It does. Also fat loss, because muscle burns more calories at rest. Better balance, which reduces fall risk. Improved bone density fighting osteoporosis. Reduce chronic pain. And even benefits for the brain. Better cognitive function. Improved mood, better sleep. It's incredibly powerful.
What's the best way to approach it?
Prioritize compound movements. These are exercises that work multiple muscles and joints at the same time. Think squats, lunges, push-ups, rows. More bang for your buck.
Efficient. Okay, another often overlooked pillar. Sleep.
Absolutely critical. Sleep is when your body and brain do their repair work. It clears out chemicals like adenosine that build up during the day and make you feel tired.
And many of us have poor sleep hygiene.
Very common. The book recommends having a wind-down routine, maybe 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Dim the lights, ditch the phone and screens, keep things quiet.
Create the right environment.
Yeah, because sleep deprivation messes everything up. It significantly impacts how well you heal from injuries, and it's linked to all sorts of chronic conditions. It needs to be prioritized right alongside diet and exercise.
Fundamental. Okay, let's talk weight gain. It's a common struggle, especially after 50. Feels harder to shift weight.
It can feel that way. Part of it is that our bodies are still running on ancient software, if you like. Our ancestors evolved to seek out high-sugar, high-fat foods because they were rare sources of energy needed for survival. So those foods are incredibly rewarding, highly palatable to our brains even now when they're everywhere.
We're wired to like them.
We really are. But maintaining a healthy weight has so many benefits beyond just appearance. Better self-confidence, sure, but also just moving more easily, less strain on your knees, your hips.
Makes sense.
Better stamina, and actually a lower risk of injury because things like blood sugar and inflammation are better controlled at a healthy weight.
Even losing a little bit helps.
Definitely. The book notes that losing even just, say, 2 kilos, around 5 pounds, can make a noticeable difference in joint pain and mobility.
That feels achievable. Does metabolism slowing down make it impossible?
It does slow down a bit, but it's not impossible to lose weight. You might not need intense exercise. Focusing on diet can be very effective. The absolute key, according to the book, eliminate ultra-processed foods.
The stuff in packets with long ingredient lists.
Pretty much. They're energy-dense, but nutrient-poor. They're designed to be hyper-palatable, so you eat more. And they're strongly linked to obesity and other health problems.
So focus on whole foods.
And make healthy choices the easy choices. Have healthy snacks prepped and ready. Make the unhealthy stuff harder to get to. It's about building habits.
Right. What about drinks? Coffee, tea, any surprises there?
Yeah, actually. Both seem to have some benefits. Tea, especially black tea, is packed with antioxidants that have anti-inflammatory effects. One study linked drinking 4 or more cups daily to a 32% lower stroke risk.
Wow, 4 cups. And coffee.
Coffee gets a good rap, too. Studies associate it with a reduced risk of MS, lower overall death rates, and even a 26% lower risk of colorectal cancer, possibly due to compounds like polyphenols.
So my morning coffee is okay.
Seems like it might even be beneficial, in moderation, of course.
Okay. We mentioned 10,000 steps earlier. You said it wasn't necessarily a magic number?
Yeah, it kind of started as a marketing slogan for a pedometer in Japan back in the 60s. It caught on, but it's not a hard scientific rule. More steps are generally good, but the exact number is less important than just being active.
But something that does have surprising science behind it is sauna use.
Yes. This is fascinating. Regular sauna use seems to offer some really impressive benefits.
Like what?
It can help reduce leg pain in people with peripheral artery disease. It can increase insulin sensitivity, which is great for blood sugar control.
Okay.
And here's the kicker. One long-term study found that using a sauna more than 4 times a week was linked to a massive 66.7% decrease in the risk of developing Alzheimer's disease.
66% reduction in Alzheimer's risk from saunas.
Over a 20-year follow-up, yes. And a 40% reduction in overall mortality. It's pretty staggering for such a simple, enjoyable activity.
That is incredible. Heat therapy having such a protective effect. Worth looking into.
Definitely seems so.
What about alternatives if you need anti-inflammatories for pain? Are there supplements that can help?
There's good research on omega-3 fish oils. Some studies suggest they can be as effective as NSAID drugs, like ibuprofen, for back pain caused by disc issues.
As effective? Wow.
Yeah. And most of us just don't get enough omega-3 from our diet anyway, from things like oily fish. So supplementing can be valuable for general health and taming inflammation too.
Good to know. Okay, shifting focus slightly, brain health. Keeping sharp as we age. What works? Forget Sudoku.
Huh. Well, the book suggests that simple puzzles like Sudoku, while maybe fun, probably don't do much to prevent dementia on their own.
So what does?
It talks about needing real mental gymnastics, activities that truly challenge your brain in novel ways.
Not just.
Things like reading complex books or articles,
Yeah.
playing board games, which importantly also involve social interaction,
Yeah.
or learning to play a musical instrument. These are thought to help slow down brain atrophy.
Use it or lose it, but in a challenging way.
Exactly. And critically, treat the body, treat the mind. Exercise is hugely protective for the brain.
How does exercise help the brain specifically?
It improves blood pressure, cholesterol levels, blood sugar, control all factors that directly impact brain health, and reduce the risk of both dementia and depression. It's all connected.
It really is. Stress is another big factor in modern life. Any insights on managing it?
The book points out that low-level chronic stress often flies under the radar. We just get used to it.
The background hum of anxiety.
Yeah. A great release valve, it suggests. Laughter. Watching comedies, spending time with funny people, it actually has physiological benefits.
Laughter therapy?
Kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, seeking professional help like counseling, if stress feels overwhelming or stems from deeper issues, that can be invaluable.
And it mentions resilience, like Navy SEALs.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. Science shows some people in extremely high-stress roles can actually become more resilient. It suggests that while chronic stress is bad, our response to acute stress, how we cope and adapt, really matters.
Perspective is key. Now, for a surprising one, the book mentions sex as pain relief.
It does. It's down to endorphins.
The feel-good chemicals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When they're released during sex, they interact with opiate receptors in your brain, the same ones that painkillers, like codeine, target.
So it literally dulls pain signals.
Apparently so. There's no prescribed frequency for this benefit, but the effect is temporary.
Suggesting more might be better.
That seems to be the implication.
Yeah.
And thoughtfully, the book even includes tips on modified positions for people who might have back pain, making it more accessible.
Practical. Okay. It all comes back to taking control, making changes. How do we make these things stick? Good intentions often fade.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The book highlights the power of tracking your progress. Journaling, basically.
Writing things down.
Yes, because what gets measured gets managed.
Yeah.
It helps you see patterns, stay organized, celebrate small wins, and hit your goals.
Keeps you accountable to yourself.
It does. And the other huge point is making healthy choices the default, the easy option. Don't rely purely on willpower. It's finite.
How do you make healthy the default?
Structure your environment. Make healthy food convenient, visible, ready to go. Make the unhealthy stuff harder to get to, out of sight, out of the house. Over time, the healthy choice becomes the habit, until, as the book says, it's more of an effort to go against your healthy habit than it does to follow it.
Building automaticity. Love that. Finally, let's cover blood flow in the legs and walking correctly. Do we need to relearn walking?
Improving circulation in the legs is important, especially if you sit a lot or notice swelling. Your leg muscles act as a muscle pump, helping push blood back up to the heart against gravity.
So how do we help that pump?
The simple things. Ankle pumps, just flexing your feet up and down repeatedly, elevating your legs when resting, getting your ankles above hip level, and doing seated or standing heel raises lifting up onto your toes. All help circulation.
Easy enough to do throughout the day, but relearning to walk.
It sounds funny, but yes, walking is a skill, and bad habits can creep in. The book has 12 checkpoints for good walking form.
12. What are a couple key ones?
Okay, 2 crucial ones. First, the heel strike. Make sure your heel is the first part of your foot to contact the ground with each step. Lots of people shuffle or land flat-footed.
Heel first.
Got it. Second, where you look. Aim to gaze ahead about 4.5 meters or 15 feet. Don't look down at your feet.
But looking down feels safer, doesn't it?
It feels safer, but it actually pulls your head and shoulders forward, shifting your center of gravity and making you more likely to lose balance and fall. Look ahead.
Look ahead, not down. Counterintuitive, but makes sense. And the most dangerous movement for over 50s.
According to the book, it's stepping down.
Down, not up.
Stepping down, then coming downstairs, stepping off a curb. This movement relies heavily on eccentric muscle contractions.
Eccentric.
That's when the muscle is contracting but also lengthening at the same time. It's acting like your body's brakes.
Controlling the descent.
Exactly. And these eccentric contractions are the most demanding type for your muscles. That's why going downstairs often feels harder and is riskier for falls than going up. We need to train those braking muscles.
Fascinating. Understanding the why behind that difficulty.
It helps target the right exercises.
Well, this has been an absolutely incredible deep dive, really unpacking this idea that getting older doesn't have to mean decline.
Not at all. It really is about empowerment, about understanding the choices you have. You know, people often sigh and say, oh, it's no fun getting old.
Yeah, you hear it all the time.
But as we've gone through today, with awareness, with persistence, putting in a bit of disciplined effort, you really can push back against that typical aging process. You can maintain vitality.
It feels like the biggest takeaway is just move. Physical activity seems to be the closest thing to a magic bullet.
It really is. The greatest gift you can give yourself, especially from your 50s onwards. It protects your heart, your muscles, your bones, even your brain, as we discussed.
You don't need some miracle drug when you have exercise in all its forms available.
Exactly. The hardest part is often just summoning the willpower to start or to keep going.
Getting over that initial hurdle.
But remember that willpower, that discipline, it's like a muscle itself. The more you use it, the more you flex that hypothetical muscle, the stronger it gets. Those small daily decisions really do compound.
So thinking about the listener moving forward from this deep dive, what's the final thought?
Just consider how those seemingly small, consistent choices, making healthy eating easy, building in movement, prioritizing sleep, managing stress, how they all add up. Through building habits, they can genuinely let you defy the odds of aging, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally too. It's about creating a future where you're not just living longer, but truly living better.